Hello guys, can you listen me here? This is basically Next.js 14 mini crash course guys. In this tutorial I will show you the very important concepts of the latest version. At the time of recording this video, Next.js has 14 is released, and I will be showing you the main features of this Next.js 14. So first of all, we have the app directory. We will also look at Next.js routing in detail, and server-side components as well we will look at, and also how to create get request post in API. We will also look at how to create get request post request. So there is a API folder which is available. You If you just create a brand new Next.js project guys, you will not see this API uh, folder. So let me also delete this also. So page.jsx, let me also delete that. So in order to create a brand new Next.js project guys, if you see, you can have their CLI. So you can go to their official website guys. They have their great documentation. If you want to simply install Next.js, you can simply invoke this command. So if I basically go into my directory where I need to create a project, I will go into the CMD and just create npx create next app. This is actual command guys we will use here, npx create next app @latest. This will create your app guys in the current directory, and it will basically ask some questions to you. What is your project name? So let me give here sample next app, and it is saying that it already exists. So let me choose a current different name. So let's suppose I say a Next.js sample app. So it is saying that would you like to use TypeScript for this? We will use JSX guys, no TypeScript. Would you like to use ESLint? So no. Tailwind CSS, no, we will use custom CSS. And then it is saying that would you like to use the source directory? So source directory guys is not used in the latest version. In the latest version of Next.js 14, app directory is used, so we will not be using source directory. And then it is saying that would you like to use app router, and it is saying that it is recommended feature. So we will use app router, and it is saying would you like to customize the default import alias? We will use the import alias which is @sign. So now it is initializing your Next.js app guys. Next.js, as you all know guys, it's both the client side and a server side framework, and it is based upon React.js. So you must have some basic knowledge about React.js before you learn Next.js. And then now it has created this project guys. You just need to cd into Next.js sample app. So now if you cd open my code editor guys, you can see this is actually the directory structure guys. Basically, if you see, we have the app folder out there, and if you see the package.json file here, you just need to say here npm i. This will install all the modules. So if I run down the directory structure guys, basically this is the main folder that you see right here, app folder. App folder simply means that we have this is app routing, it is simply means, and we have a page.js file. So this is the actual index.js file. In the latest version of Next.js, this is index.js is called as page.js. So this is the actual, if you run this application guys, if I just start this application npm run dev, it will start my application at the localhost 3000. So you can see it is already running an application on localhost 3000. So now it is running on localhost 3001. So it is compiled successfully. So after that guys, now it is saying that it is ready. If I go into my localhost 3301, so there will be shortly guys, this application will be running. So just wait for the compilation to finish. So now guys, basically this is your Next.js app which will be shown to you, and you can see that. Now it is saying that you can get started by editing the file which is app/page.js. This is the index route, guys. So whenever you open your application, this page.js will be shown to you. And now we can simply edit that file, which is page.js. So this is all that you see right here. If I delete everything from here, this is the same file that we see in the browser, guys, whenever we visit the home page of the application. So instead of this, I write here hello world. So what will happen, guys? The result will come right here, hello world. So this is the main file which comes right here, guys. This is a hello world, and I like to rename this to JSX. This is my own personal preference, guys. So there is layout file as well. I will also rename this to layout.jsx. So it is not the requirement. You can even run this using page.jsx. If you make that change, nothing will change. It will still be running as it is right here. You can see that. So now, guys, we will look at how to create server-side components. So basically, guys, this is page.jsx that you see right here. It's a server-side component of Next.js. So here, server-side components are those components where we can't use useState. If I try to import useState here, useState hook here, I will definitely get an error, guys. If I see, you can see that there will be a error out there. You can see it's a React server-side component error, and it is simply saying that you are importing a component that needs useState. It only works in a client-side component, but none of its parents are marked with use client. So it is saying that if you want to explicitly make this as a server-side component, then you need to set this as a client component. So if I go into this URL, you need to simply write at the above of the component as use client. So they are server-side components by default. So now to make this as a client-side component, at the top of the page, we can simply write here use client in single quotes. So if I write here use client, so now this automatically becomes a server client-side component, guys, where we can use state. So now we can use these hooks out there, which is we can add some interactivity to our Next.js component. So we can all use this use effect as well, use context, use callback. So all the hooks which are supported by React.js we can use inside this. So let's suppose I want to use effect. I can say component loaded. So what will be the result out there? You will see this alert statement right here. So there will be advantages, guys, disadvantages of using client-side component because they are very slow in terms of speed, because Next.js also offers you search engine optimization. So whenever you are building static sites using Next.js, it's very much recommended that you use server-side components, because server-side components as comparison to client-side components are very much fast in speed. They tend to load faster in the browser, and they tend to make use of these features that Next.js provides you. So it is better to simply use the server-side component. If you need some functionality, let's suppose if you want to add some animations, interactions inside your application, then you can mark that component as client-side. Simply write at the top, just use client. So this will become client-side component where you can use some hooks out there. So this is the main difference between server-side component, guys. And now this will simply, you are importing a component. Just wait, let me delete that line. So now this will work here. So this is now a server-side component. So server-side components are those components that they are built at build time. So no external JavaScript is executed right here. And it is very much useful if you are building a static site using Next.js. So they are very much useful whenever you are using Next.js for building static sites. Now we will look at one more example, guys, routing, how routing is done inside Next.js 14. So as you can see, guys, we are importing a page module.css. This is actually the uh, CSS is also applied, guys, using component wise. So this component has its own CSS file created right here, page.module.css. So here we are using styles. This is a main class that we defined right here. So this is a all the CSS code guys that we are using right here. So now if I want to create another component guys, so let's suppose if I want to go, let's suppose in my application, in if you check the address bar right here guys, if I need to create another component, if I go to here, let's suppose user. So Next.js also has this nice feature guys, it has its own 404 page. You don't need to design 404 page by yourself. Next.js automatically creates this for you. So this is a great feature that Next.js offers for you. Now I need to create that user route. How we can do that in Next.js 14? You need to create a folder for that in the app folder. Just create a folder user, and this will be the route here, localhost 3000/user, and inside this guys you need to create page.jsx. so every time guys the file name will be simply page.jsx. this is constant for every route that you create. So we can now create our functional component guys, which will be, I call this as user page. So now this is very simple guys. You will see that if I navigate to /user, you can see that. So now it basically this is a routing guys that we do right here, localhost 3001/user. So now it is showing me the user page that we defined right here. If you see, if I change this, let's suppose this is the user page. You can see now it refreshes right here. So now guys, let's suppose if I want to create some more pages right here inside this, if I want to do, let's suppose John, I will create a folder and then again I will define the file page.jsx. So this time this will be John page. So we will simply write here, hi, I am John. So now how we will do that? So you can see it's a nested route out there, /user/John. So if I want to do this, I will simply write here /user/John. So now this will be the John route. You can see that. So you can see that localhost 3001/user/John. So this is basically guys how we create routes, how we create components. So a simple route is a simple React.js component guys. You can see it's a simple React.js component, functional component, and here we simply write the JSX right here. So this is actually the how pages are constructed guys, server-side components. Now we have how we can route to a particular page. So Next.js provide you this router guys, how we do routing. So we can simply have our router here from next router. We can basically import this from next/router. So now if I want to navigate to, we will simply use this link tag. Inside this we will basically provide the href property. Href will be equal to /user. So here we will say that go to user page. So if you now open your directory guys, you have a server component that user next router used next navigation instead. Next, oh, sorry, this needs to be link. So we need to import here link here guys. So that's why next link. So you need to import this here link next/link. So here we need to provide the property link tag href where we need to go to the page /user, and then this is the actual placeholder text. So if you see, if you refresh here, go to your localhost index page, you can see basically there is a go to user page. If I click this page here, I will navigate to our /user page. So it is saying that this is the user page here. If I want to add one other link guys, we can simply write another. We can have a break tag and we can say that user/John, go to John page. So you can see that guys, now we will if I go to the home page, we will have two links out there, go to user page, go to John page. So it will say, hi, I'm John here. So simply we can do this in our this page also. We can say here, go to home page. We can navigate to the home page right here. So we just need to surround this in a fragment. So fragment is something like this, guys. You can basically do like this. So go to the home page. You can see that. So this is a navigation, guys. Very simple navigation. You can go to home page. You can go to the user page. So simply we can do this for the John page as well. So what we can do, so this is the John page. So you can see that, guys, it is very easy to do this. Go to home page, you can see that. So this is how we do navigation in routing inside our Next.js 14, guys. So now I need to introduce you some important concepts in Next.js 14, the advantages that it offers. The first advantage is offer, guys, if you see your page.module.js file, if you want to import any custom font, let's suppose any custom Google font, you don't need to write inside your global CSS. Let's suppose if you want to use any custom font, let's suppose if I search here font family. So if you want to use any custom font right here, you don't need to write here inside CSS. You can globally use a Google custom font inside your layout file. So just open your layout.jsx file, guys. So let me just delete all this and just show you how we do that. So this is your actual layout file. Layout file, guys, simply means that the every component has a layout file. So this layout file is simply named as layout.jsx. So every component that you create, guys, this this component will also have a layout file as well. You can create that also. This John component will also have a layout file. You can create like this. So every component that you create in Next.js, guys, has a layout file. You can name that. And this layout file, first of all, provides two advantages. Let's suppose if you want to change the title description of your thing, you can do that here. So here I will simply delete this and start from scratch. So here, let's suppose if you want to change the title, because many a times, guys, React.js applications are not SEO friendly. They are not optimized for search engines such as Google and Yahoo. What Next.js offers over React.js is that they offer you the ability to change title and description for every page or every server-side component that you create. So how it is possible, guys? There is a property export const metadata. So there is a metadata API, guys. This variable you can create. This is basically an object. It contains the title. Here we can say that this is the home page. We can simply say the title is home page. The second property is the description. So all this information is used by the Google search engine, guys, any bot that comes in your website. And the third property is keywords. This is really useful whenever you want to rank your website. So we can just do this home. So we have put this metadata here, guys. So what it will do, it will change the title. If you refresh your application, so what it has done, let me see. It has opened the layout.export const. So just refresh your application, guys. npm run dev. So after you do this, guys, export const metadata, I think D needs to be small here. So this is actually D needs to be small, guys, here. If you refresh now, hopefully your title will be changed. Sorry, this needs to be, so okay, localhost 3000. So now you can see that guys, our title has been changed here to home page. You can see that. So if you also go to view source, view page source, this is the actual HTML that is seen by the Google search engines that comes to your website, guys. So you can see we have successfully changed title. If you search for the title here, so title, you can see guys, the title has been renamed to home page. So whatever value that you put right here, let's suppose I say custom home page. Let me put my website or YouTube channel name. So coding Shiksha. So if I refresh now, you can see the title has been changed right here, coding Shiksha. So whatever title you put right here, guys, this title will be reflected here. So this is a great functionality, metadata API. It offers you, it provides for every component that you write, you can change the title, description, and the keywords. So component is essentially a page for your static Next.js website or dynamic website that you're building. So for every page, you can change the title, description, and keywords. The second feature that was I was talking about, guys, let's suppose if you want to apply any custom Google font in our Next.js application. So let's suppose if you go to Google and type here Google fonts, and you browse for your favorite Google font out there. And let's suppose I want to search for my favorite font, Poppins. Let me want to apply this font. I will simply copy this and then I will say import Poppins. So Poppins basically, guys, this is the actual font. Sorry. Import Poppins from. So this is basically the root layout, guys. Next slash font Google. So here, guys, you can import any font from Google. This is the name of the font here, import Poppins. Now we need to create a variable, guys, which is const Poppins, and Poppins, this is the actual way by which you can do this. So we just need to say Poppins here, and it takes an object here. It contains two properties. First is the subset property, and this will be either Latin extension or Devanagari. I will put here Latin, and then we will put the weight. So you can also provide multiple weights, guys. So I will put here 400 for the normal text and 600 for the bold text. So now we just need to assign this class name to our this layout file, guys. So this is the root layout, guys, and it will apply to all the pages in the website. I will directly apply to the body. So we will say class name and we will provide an object poppins dot class name. So in this way, guys, you can attach custom fonts, and if I refresh now your application, so you can see the fonts have been changed, guys. So this is the Poppins font. This is a 600 weight has been applied, and if I go to the user page, default export is not a React component in page user. What is saying that the default export is not a React component in page. What is the error here? Internal error, default export is not a component in user. Let me say RAFC user page. Let me delete this folder, and so this is your home page, guys. What I'm talking about, you can basically browse for any font route right here. Let's suppose if I want to apply this font here, I will simply copy this value and simply apply this here. Instead of this, I will apply this. If you see, refresh now, missing required error, unknown weight 600. So available weight is only 400. So I will simply attach this. So now you can see this font will be changed right here to this font. You can apply any Google font that you want to use using this. You can see that. So this is a really cool way in Next.js component, guys. So this you just need to go to the layout file of your component. Let me apply a different component, create a user component and create page.jsx, uh, page dot so RAFC. If I apply user, so this is a user page, guys. You can see how this Google font is applied, guys, because we applied it in a body, in a root layout here. This is a root layout, so that's why it is reflected back in the next component as well. So if I want to have its own layout file, so we will create our own layout. So here it will have its own layout. So we will simply export. In order to define a layout, guys, custom layouts, we can say export default function. We will say user layout, and it will take children here as an argument, and we will say return this children like this. So here we can simply put something here. Let's suppose heading. This is the user page. So this will only be reflected in the user page, guys, because we defined in the layout here. So you can see this is the user page, and if I go to the home page, this will not be reflected here. So this is really useful, guys, if you're designing login forms, sign up forms. You can have your own components. So you can see it has brand new layout file which is applied here. You can apply custom layouts in Next.js as well with the help of this. So it's very useful. So let's suppose I create a brand new login. So I can say login page.jsx and RAFC login page. So it has its own layout file. You can define this layout. So you are basically getting the feel, guys, how Next.js components work. They have their own layout file as well. Export default function login layout. You can also see the naming convention as well, guys. This is camel case out there. So here we can put our children. So here we can say this is the login page. So if I go to /login now, you can see this is the login page. So basically, instead of you can basically show a login page to the user for logging in inside your website. So you are getting the feel, guys, how we create server-side components, client-side components, how we can apply Google fonts, how we can do routing, how we can apply metadata to our components. So let's suppose in the layout file, we can simply assign that export const metadata. We can say title, login page, coding section. So if you, this is really useful guys if you are owning a blog and every blog post you need to give it a title. So this object is a very handy object for that. Very easily you can do that. So this is the login page. So if you now navigate to your login page, you will see, sorry, this needs to be metadata guys. So just make sure that you name this variable correctly guys. This needs to be metadata because it's part of an API. So now you can see the title has changed here, login page, coding Shiksha. So I think I explained you very much guys in this video about Next.js. It's a tremendous framework guys. And yeah, Abdullah, it's both backend and front end framework. You can basically create a login route in the app folder. Just create a API folder right here. And you can define routes as well. So let's suppose I want to define a route. So I just need to name my file as route.js. So if you just do this, this will be the home API route. So for this, we just need to import our next response. It will be coming from next/server. We can define a function guys, which is async function. It can be either post or get guys. We will simply define a get request here. And here we can return a simple response, next response JSON. We can return a message sample API response. This is your API routes guys. So API routes goes into the API folder. You just need to create an API folder in the app folder and then define a routes.js file. So simply if I need to navigate to our /API, so now this will give me this JSON response guys. If you see, we are sample API response. So Next.js is both a backend and a front-end framework. You can define custom routes guys in the API folder. Let's suppose I want to go user. Here once again the naming conventions will be route.js guys simply. So again we can do this same thing out there. This time we can say sample user response. This time this will be /API/user. You can see the naming is localhost 3000 /API/user. So this is your backend server running in the same folder, sample user response. So it's a very tremendous framework guys, Next.js guys. You can see how it is emitting out JSON response. So let's suppose if you console log the request guys, so wherever you need to look guys, this backend request, these console log messages that you print right here in the API folder will not be coming in the browser. If I refresh now, you can't go to this browser console and see here. You need to go to your command line. It's similar to Node.js. In Node.js, you basically see the console log messages in the command line. So simply you need to go to command line and you can see this is a console log message that we are printing out. So similarly, you can see, and similarly, if you go to your server side component and if you make, let's suppose, if you write here some JavaScript here, if I make this as a client side component, I say here use client. And then if I want to use use state or use effect, and here if I want to console log something, I will go to the browser console because this is client side component. If I refresh your application localhost to 3000, if I need to go to your browser console. So you can see this is client side component. So there is a difference between your API routes and this server side components or client side components. So we can simply make a fetch call here, guys. Simply make a fetch call to our backend server. We can say HTTP localhost 3000 slash API slash user, and then it will return a promise response, and we can simply console log the response. So it is saying that, okay, I need to convert this into JSON first. So sorry, response.json, and then you will get the data. So if you refresh now, guys, basically you will see your message, guys, in the console. So we are basically printing out the data from the API, guys, in our server side component, our in client side component of Next.js. We are using use effect, and we are actually getting the response here, sample user response. You can see that we are actually getting this response back from the API routes that we created, guys. You can see API slash user routes. So you can change this to anything. If I change this, this will be reflected back. You can see that. So this was a mini crash course, guys, on Next.js 14. I showed you very important concepts in Next.js 14. Hopefully you will like this video. Please hit that like button, guys. Subscribe the channel. And I will be seeing you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much.